Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Remind the commissioners to please turn on your mics and make sure that you speak clearly into them. I wanted to thank everybody for coming that is here. There are agendas located on the outside of the double doors there. This is a public hearing which public notice has been provided. The proceedings are being televised and recorded and can be viewed either on cable channel 192 or online of the City of Casper's YouTube channel. First, I'd like to read some information statements about the meeting. Use of cellular phones is not prohibited, and such telephones shall be turned off, otherwise silenced during the planning and zoning meetings. When speaking to the Planning and Zoning Commission, please clearly state your name and address. Please keep your remarks pertinent to the issues being considered by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Please do not repeat the statement that were made by the previous speaker. Please speak to the Planning and Zoning Commission as you would like to be spoken to. Please do not address applicants or other audience members directly. Please make your comments to the podium and directly to the chairperson and Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to remind everyone present that the City of Casper Planning and Zoning Commission is a volunteer body composed of members of the Casper community and appointed by the Casper City Council. The commission acts as quasi-judicial panel making final decisions on some items and recommends to the City Council on others as directed by law. The commission may not only consider evidence about any case as it relates to existing law. The commission cannot make or change planning and zoning laws, regulation, policies, or guidelines. I like to note that Ms. Victory is not present at this time, and nor are Mr. Wallace as our attorney. Yeah. The first item on the agenda this evening is to consider the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on October 13th, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of the October 13, 2020 meeting?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, if you're ready for it, that we accept those minutes of October 13th, 2022.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Wingner.
Second it.
Second by Mr. McIntosh. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Oh, I'm gonna change that. Did one not? Okay.
With Commissioner Bates abstaining and all other members voting aye, the motion passes.
The next item on our agenda this evening is scheduled public hearings. Before we get started, just a reminder to all the evening applicants that it takes 4 affirmative votes to pass any item, regardless of the number of commissioners present. If any applicant would like to postpone their case, in addition of possibility more commissioners being present next month, then I would ask you to speak when your case is announced. The first public hearing tonight will be considered for case CUP 284-2022, which is a request for a conditional use permit to operate an in-home child care center with maximum capacity up to 15 unrelated children at 2936 Red Crest Drive, more particular described as Valley Hills Edition Lot 25 and a 20-foot strip, ADG. The applicant is Crystal Levada, thank you. Comfy Cozy Children Care for Infants and Toddlers. Are the applicants present and do you wish to proceed? Yes. Okay. Can we please get staff report at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Application has been submitted for a conditional use permit to allow for the expansion of an existing daycare to a maximum of 15 children located at 2936 Ridgecrest Drive. The subject property is zoned R2, which is 1-unit residential, and land uses in the immediate area are all single-family residential. Ridgecrest Drive provides access to the property and is considered a local street, primarily meant to serve the properties located along the street and not pass through traffic. It is staff's opinion that the proposed expansion of the child care to a maximum of 15 children will not noticeably increase traffic volume or congestion or cause a traffic hazard in the area. The daycare operates Mondays through Friday during the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. A fenced outdoor play area is provided on the property. In addition to the provider, there is one additional employee working on the site. The property has a multi-car width driveway available, which can accommodate the 2 off-street parking spaces required. The Department of Family Services handles licensing, evaluates the adequacy of the area within the house and yard for play and other activities, and regulates the nature and quality of the care provided. Child cares are inspected by the City County Health Department and the City Fire Department regularly. Based on the information provided by the Department of Family Services, there are no other licensed child cares within a half mile of the subject property. Staff has included 4 recommended conditions for the consideration of the Planning and Zoning Commission. There have been no public comments submitted, and I have 5 exhibits to enter. A is the application for a conditional use permit. B, public notice sent to the property owners within 300 feet. C, legal notice sent to the Star Tribune. D, a photo of the public notice sign on the property. And E, memo to the chairperson and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. That concludes our report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the report and the exhibits. Does anyone on the commission have any preliminary questions for the staff report?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. Is Mrs. Lovato, is she aware of these recommended these 4 recommended?
Mr. Chairman, the staff sent out the link to the packet, and I certainly hope that she had a chance to read the packet before she showed up, but when she comes up, you can ask her if she's aware of those conditions.
The conditions? Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Now is the time that we getting ahead of myself. I would like to ask the applicant and/or other authorized representative to come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and explain your application to the commission.
Okay, hi, I'm Krista Lovato. I currently live at 2936 Ridgecrest Drive. I've been living there for 30 years and been operating a child care there for 30 years. I want to expand. I'm currently licensed for 10. Years ago, I went before the city council and got a special use permit at that time. But now I want to expand to 15. And actually, right now, I do not have an employee because I can do it with just 1 with 10. But if I go up to 15, I would have to hire another employee. And I do want to transition from the current child care that I am and go more into infant and toddler because there's a desperate need for infant and toddler care right now. I've got many people, they're waiting to hear what happens tonight. So I guess that's what I have.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Does any of the commissioners have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I was just wondering, are you aware of the 4 conditions? Did you see them?
I read the packets, but I'm not sure which 4, what you're considering the 4 conditions. The double driveway, the 2-car off-street parking and that, yes.
Okay. Ma'am, I went by your place today, and I noticed there's a little bit of construction going on? There's some yellow tape around the yard, your front yard, your driveway.
I just had a new sidewalk poured, and when they poured it, they left such a lip that I had to get dirt put in on the lawn side because I didn't want anyone hitting that edge. So I was just I left the tape up until I'm sure I got the dirt hauled in there level. So that will probably be gone by the end of the weekend.
Okay. And then another thing, as I drove by, I just drove by slow to look at it, but I noticed you had some kind of a structure in the backyard.
Yes, that's a covered
Is
playground.
that just a canopy or what?
Yes, it's a covered playground.
Okay, okay. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
sure.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you. Now is the time that we ask for members of the audience to come forward in either support or opposition of this case. Please remember to state your name and address clearly in the microphone for the record. Anyone wishing to speak in support of this case, please come forward now. Anyone in opposition of this case, please come forward now. Seeing nobody else wishing to speak in either support or opposition of this case, the chair hereby closes the public comment portion of the public hearing and calls for a motion to approve with conditions, deny, table, or postpone to a date certain.
Mr. Chairman, I note that the Planning and Zoning Commission has considered all relevant factors, including but not limited to those set forth in Casper Municipal Code Section 1712-240H, and find that the conditional use permit meets the two findings required by Casper Municipal Code Section 1712-240G. On that basis, I move to approve Case CUP 284-2022 with the four listed under the recommendation section of the staff report.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to approve with the conditions by McIntosh and a second by Mr. Wingener. Is there any further discussion? We will now cast a vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion carries.
Thank you. The second final public hearing tonight will be for the consideration of case CUP.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to mention to the applicant that this case is now over with unless we receive an appeal, and we should have some paperwork that she'll need to sign next week.
Did you understand that?
Yeah, we'll get in touch with you and we'll let you know when the paperwork's ready, and then you can come down and sign it, or we can send it to you in the mail, whichever you prefer. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for mentioning that. The second and final public hearing tonight will be consideration for case CUP 288-2022, which is a request for a second amendment to a conditional use permit granted March 25th, 2014 to enlarge the existing detached garage by an additional 128 square feet located at 643 East 17th Street, more particularly described as a portion of Block 37, Butler Heights addition. The applicant of Emmerich Huber is the applicant present. Do you wish to proceed?
On behalf of Dr. Huber, we are present.
All right. Thank you. Can we get a staff report at this time, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The owner of the property, Mr. Huber, is located at 643 East 17th Street, has applied for a second amendment to the previously granted conditional use permit from March 2014 in order to enlarge the size of the existing oversized 1,830 square foot detached garage by an additional 128 square feet. The property is located south of the intersection of East 17th Street and Oak Crest Avenue and is zoned R2, one unit residential. The initial conditional use permit for the property allowed for an 1,800 square foot detached structure with an accessory dwelling unit on the upper floor. The first amendment to the conditional use permit, approved in January of this year, allowed for an additional 30 square feet of building area for the construction of an elevator shaft. The property is approximately 18,700 square feet in size, and the existing structure was built at the maximum size permitted by the conditional use permit. The applicant's stated reason for applying for a second amendment is to allow for the construction of an 8x16 addition to the north side of the structure for a secure storage area for medical records for his previous patients. The question before the Planning and Zoning Commission is whether the current proposal is compatible with the surrounding area. Specifically, Section 1712-240H of the Municipal Code provides guidance on the factors that should be considered by the Commission when making its findings. Mr. Chairman, we've included one recommended condition of approval, which reiterates the time frame that the conditional use permit is good for and must be acted upon. There were no public comments received, and I have 6 exhibits, one of which has been printed off by the applicant and included with your packets tonight in a hard copy. A is the application for a conditional use permit. B, public notice sent to the property owners within 300 feet. C, legal notice sent to the Star Tribune. D, photo of the public notice sign on the property. E, memo to the chairman and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And F are the pictures submitted by the applicant today, 11/10/22. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? Okay. Next, I would ask the applicant or authorized representative to come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and explain your applicant to the commission.
Good evening, Chairman Burns, members of the commission. My name is Rob Shively. My address, 301 Thelma, Casper. I'm an attorney for Dr. Emmerich Huber. This is the second time I've appeared before the commission. I didn't intend to make this an area of my practice, but Huber's a friend, so here I am. We were here, as you pointed out, Mr. Chairman, or as has been pointed out, in January to seek permission from this commission for an elevator shaft, because the building that we're talking about is a garage, but it has living quarters above it, to which Dr. Huber wishes to move from the house that is nearby. And because he has a little bit of mobility problems, he wanted to put in an elevator shaft, and he did. He now wishes to put in a 8x16 foot room to house several safes to keep his old medical records. Dr. Huber is a retired orthodontist, as I'm sure some of you are aware. And to house those records. Some people build gun rooms. Dr. Huber wants a records room, and it would be placed, I'm looking at that picture right now, that garage, and given the tree cover that I see right there, you wouldn't be able to see it any more than you could see the elevator shaft. It would be a single-story building attached essentially to the elevator shaft with a sloped roof. Indeed, I think it would be difficult even for Dr. Huber's neighbor to the immediate east to even see it, given the presence of the elevator shaft. I believe you'll hear that his neighbor does not object to this particular construction. Standard stick construction, footings, in other words, house, and it'd be made to conform and blend in with the rest of the building. I don't think the golfers are going to care. And Dr. Huber gets his records and he gets his elevator shaft, and that's what we want to leave him with if we can. I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
Real quick, There was recommendations for the year. Does Mr. Huber understand that recommendation?
Yes,
Okay.
I should have said that. By the way, I called you Chairman Burns, Chairman Bates. I'm
No worries, no worries.
just reading a Kenneth Burns thing. I apologize.
Thank you for coming up, Mr. Rob. Does any commissioners have any questions?
Could you go back to the previous picture? Actually, now, I wouldn't buy it too, but is it basically where that pickup is? Is that where you're gonna,
No, sir. It's actually on the other side of the building.
oh, it's on the back side?
It is on the other side of the building with,
Okay,
and as I said, will be almost complete.
because with the street, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, this picture, we are looking directly east into Dr. Huber's property. You can see the second floor of the garage, and it is to the building along with the elevator shaft, which is now built, by the way.
Okay.
That's what I was wondering.
It would be on the north side of the building. And it's just hard to see. I mean, it's just not gonna interfere with anybody's enjoyment, I think, of the, of the area around.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Also, and you answered the question I had, because I called Craig earlier today about if that elevator shaft got built yet,
A
or
ride in it, but I'm told it's there.
you haven't rode in it? If nobody else has any, may have a seat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate your time. Now is the time that we ask for members in the audience to come forward in either support or opposition of this case. Please remember to state your name and address clearly into the microphone for the record. Is there anyone speak in support of this case? Please come forward now.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Trent Zempel. I reside at 673 East 17th Street, which is the middle house between the, not including Mr. Emmerich's or the applicants, but right there in the middle. I can confirm the elevator shaft is built. It conforms very well. Construction looks very nice as part of the Mr. Emmerich's expansion. And I have all confidence that this expansion would be there as well. As we saw in the previous pictures, it's well hidden with trees and other things, and really could only be seen from 17th Street. But again, the experience with the elevator shaft gives me no qualms or reservations about this expansion, and I think it adds to Mr. Emmerich's security. And anytime someone's willing to invest in their property, which is next to mine, I'm all for that. So, all right, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Trent. Appreciate it. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Houston Hanna. I live at 663 East 17th Street. That is the house directly next to Mr. Huber. We just moved to Casper about 5 months ago, and Mr. Huber and Mr. Zempel have both treated us very warmly. They're amazing neighbors, and Mr. Huber is a very accommodating neighbor, and I have no contest to the development of this parcel.
Fantastic. Anybody have any questions?
I'd just like to say welcome to Casper.
Thank you, sir.
Where did you move from?
Phoenix, Arizona, sir.
All right.
Ready for the wind and the cold?
This is my children's first experience with snow, and they've loved it.
That's awesome.
Good to hear.
All right, if the wind doesn't push you out, we'll be glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone that would speak opposed of this? Okay. Seeing nobody else wishing to speak in either support or opposition to this case, the chair hereby closes the public comment portion of the public hearing and calls for a motion to approve with conditions, deny, table, or postpone to a date certain.
I move to approve case CUP 288-2022 with the one condition listed under the recommendation section of the staff report.
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify that the motion includes the two findings required as well? Okay.
Two findings.
Two findings required by section 1712-240G. The sample motion at the end of the staff report mentions that.
Gotcha, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, there being no further discussion, we will vote on the motion, which is approved with conditions. Please cast your vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion carries.
Again, Mr. Chairman, I just want to mention to the applicant that we should have some paperwork for him to sign next week, and barring any appeals, this is the end of the road for this one. It doesn't go on to City Council.
Okay, did you understand that? All right. Thank you guys very much. This concludes our public hearings for this evening. The next item on the agenda this evening is special issues. However, there is none listed on the agenda for this month. So we move to communications. The chair calls for any communications from the commission. Anybody have anything?
Yes. I don't know if this has anything to do with planning, but today I was asked, and I've many times had to go out of my way too. Do you know anything about 12th and McKinley Street? When is that street going to open up to 12th? Anybody know anything about that? It's been blocked off, or?
Sorry, I haven't heard anything. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to congratulate those who won on their election, but I want to congratulate Jenna Jensen for winning Ward 2 for City Council, Michael Bond for Ward 2, and for Ray Pacheco and Barnett Haskins for winning Ward 3. We look forward to, in a roundabout way, working with them. So congrats to those guys. The chair calls for a communication from the Community Development Director or the City Planner.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Christmas is coming up, and I think we're going to try to do another activity after our Planning Commission meeting. So be on the lookout for that. As a little fellowship, Travis will be new to that, but the rest of us have gone through this a few years. So
This is December 8th?
yeah.
Okay.
December 8th.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
The chair calls for communication from the council liaison.
Good evening, all. I don't have anything other than thank you for your service. Public service is always wanted and appreciated more than you know, especially volunteer-wise. So thank you all for being here, doing what you do. It's very much appreciated, and I know it takes a lot off the plate of the council themselves to have you guys going through all the process, and we just get to rubber stamp it because I don't recall ever not approving something you sent to us. So we appreciate the due diligence, and thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. The chair calls for communication from Historical Preservation Commission Liaison and the Old Yellowstone District Liaison. Do you have anything?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not a representative of the Historic Preservation Commission, but they did lose one member. Pinky Ellis was very well respected in this community, and he had quite a history around him. And I just want to point that out. He's going to be missed.
I would agree, and thank you for pointing that out. I feel bad that I forgot about that, so I'm glad that you remembered. Thank you. You have anything regarding either one of those? Okay, just thought I'd double check.
You all should have received the minutes from both of those,
Yep.
the last meetings. So if you had any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
The chair calls for any other communication from anyone else present. I don't see anybody. The final item on the agenda for this evening is an adjournment. The next meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission is scheduled for Thursday, December 8th, 2022 at 6 p.m. My understanding is we have one item on the docket. Is that correct?
We do. We have one zone change on there, so it should be a fairly quick meeting. It sounds like Liz has something planned for after that.
Okay, so keep your schedule open after that, please. There being no further business to conduct, the chair would entertain motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you,
Who's here?
Mr. Joe.
What's her name again?
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh.
Oh,
Mr.
Please,
Chairman,
Cash.
My apologies. I thought everybody had met Barb, but
Oh,
wanted to mention that we have a new person sitting up front tonight, and I'm very appreciative. As you saw last month when I didn't have any help, it didn't go near as smooth. So happy to have Barb along.
welcome.
I actually watched from home, and for any of you that didn't no reason why he didn't show up is the kid got off the bus and he put his lunch on me. And so I had to go home and change, and yeah, so I apologize for not being here last week, but we're getting through it, so. And yes, thank you for being here, Miss Barb. It's great to have you. So we had a second, we had a first and a second. Please cast your vote. And record the vote.
With all members voting aye, the motion carries.
Thank you guys for coming.